by popular request 1. We're now doing an English commentary for the Danish Championships 2020, held at the Svinninge Disc Golf Course on Zealand here in Denmark. With me in the commentator booth, I have again Steffen Riese Andersen. Hello, Steffen.
Hello.
So
thank you for having me.
Again, yeah.
Again.
This is a 2-hour deal, and Steffen has recreated his notes, so he's going to be telling you all about the discs everyone is playing.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
When it fits in, and of course, if it's a good shot, then there's a reason to say. If it's not that good, there's no reason to say at all.
So we have a really strong field here, and let's just roll the intro, and I'll try and introduce the players while we roll the intro. So first we have KJ, sponsored by Innova, Sebastian Pauli, sponsored by Prodigy, and from Svinninge Disc Golf Club, Johan Berg, who is currently not sponsored but throws primarily Discmania and Innova. Then we have Martin Spliid, sponsored by Lat64, and Schmidt, sponsored by Kasterplast. Hole number 1, 95 meters, par 3. Straight hole, no OB, but you do have quite a bit of bushes left and right, so you want to stay in the fairway.
Yeah, we have a saying, you and me, that rough is rough.
Yes.
On this course,
rough
and you will
rough.
hear it. Yeah, you will hear it say it many times because we love that saying. But this hole here, you have Johan on the tee first, and he's throwing a cream white night strike 1 FD. And it's a good straight shot down there. The main thing about this hole is you don't want to go early left or right. And if you go in late, you want to go in right, not left, because it's really thick in the areas. But it's, I would say for these players, it's just hit and reward. Just hit the gap straight and get down there.
And Sebastian here goes in a little bit early right, but I seem to remember.
You can get away with that.
I seem to remember that he actually gets away with it because it is quite open back there on the right hand side.
Also worth saying that Sebastian, the guy we just saw throw there as the second on the tee, he is only 15 years old, and he's so far second place in the Danish Championship in this last round.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah, and he actually also slipped a bit there in the throw, but it still looked like, I think it's still a good result. When you get in up around that area, then it opens up a lot on the right side. And here, of course, we have the myth, the legend, KJ.
The 13-time Danish champion.
Hunting for the 14 championship here for sure. And we all know he's having a KC Pro Rock in his hand. It's the favorite choosing disc for him. So no doubt about it, straight and downwards. Just a bit too flippy. Little bit too tucked into the right side there. And then on the next on tee, as the last guy, we have Schmidt. And I know he's on hole 1 here. He was trying to take a fairway driver and make a slow flip and just get it to go straight, but it just flipped too much. Maybe the nerves of all the audience looking. As you can see a pretty good crowd.
The tournament was played in a period where we fortunately were able to have a little bit of a crowd following the players.
Yeah, the better time of Corona, if you can say there's good time, or better time of Corona, but yeah.
So
over on the other
shot.
That's a good one. He does that analysis shot with there. Great shot, great shot.
KJ has a bit of the same throw here. Looks like an AVR in his hand.
It is. It's he putts and throws KC Pro AVRs a lot. But you also have something to say about this throw we're going to see him do now, because it was something he had practiced specially up to DM, these pattern pendings, backhand annies. You told me about, right?
And the backhand annies, and a little bit of a spoiler alert, we are going to see that shot utilized a few more times, at least one more time that I can remember. It is a few months ago since this tournament, so
yeah. It's almost like we're commentating on new, but I played the tournament as well. I played in the advanced division in Denmark. There's not a big enough field for just open. So, but by the way, about the drive from Sebastian, as we saw. He got all the way up there in his drive.
Yeah.
So it clearly worked. Like we said, there was that opening.
Unfortunately, he did have a few trees in the way, so he couldn't really do anything but lay up.
Yeah, but maybe not the worst decision.
No,
it's the first hole, the little bit hole jitters. You have the hill on the other, like the little creek kind of thing there behind it. It's not OB, but you don't want to be down there putting from there. So I think it was a clever decision to just lay up.
So Martin here for...
It must be a bogey, I think.
Yeah, for bogey, yeah.
Yeah, not the best start you could wish for. But let's see. Yeah.
Bogey, but really nice putt.
Yeah, there's something very special about Martin. He's sponsored by Latitude. He changed over to them this last year. He putts with Sinus. I don't know of any other person in the world that putts with a Sinus. But he putts with Sinus, and he putts very, very well with the Sinus.
He started out putting with a harp.
Yeah.
Just to try it. And I only know one person who putts with a harp, and it's a girl.
Yeah. I think he changed to the Sinus because he wanted something that was just a tad bit slower.
Yeah.
So, nice birdie there from Johan, the current leader. That's the start you want.
Bit of an awkward position down there, but yeah, really nice start. KJ here for par on the edge of the... Well, it's not really a creek. It's more of a ditch. I think it's made to collect rainwater when it's because the course is really flat. So, so hole number 2, 74 meters par 3. You have two options here. You can either go on the left-hand side of the bushes in the middle, or well, fairly straight. It looks straight on the map.
It's very straight. It's a very straight shot if you go straight down the first gap in front of you. It's like definitely a forehand throw if you're going from the left corner. The thing about this course that's worth mentioning also is it's not a lot of the holes are not very long, and it's definitely not a bomber course. It's super technical. You need to hit your lines. If you do not hit your lines, it's instantly a throw or two extra every time just to get forward.
From the rough.
Yeah, from the rough.
And there is OB long here, so if you do throw a little bit long, and you might see the spectators in the background there, they are standing in OB.
Yeah. Here we have KJ. He's throwing a KC Pro Aviar. Yeah, it's a KC Pro Aviar, that one. Yeah.
A little bit early left, but got a lucky kick.
Yeah.
Ended up out in the open fairway again.
And Mads here is throwing a grit, which is a very glidey mid-range, and it does what a very glidey mid-range does.
Goes OB.
OB long. And I'll give you one guess to what this guy's throwing in this hole.
Sinus or hop?
Sinus.
We'll go with the Sinus.
We'll go with the Sinus. As you can see in his snap, he has quite a lot of power. He really torques on the disc, so he makes like overstable disc act less stable just because of that power. I couldn't throw a Sinus like that ever.
Everything is a roller disc for Martin.
Yeah.
Johan here with an upshot from hits a tree and has quite a bit of a look for par. Martin here for birdie.
Yeah.
No trees in the way, but it is maybe 15 meters out. That's a little hard to
catch. And a slightly low ceiling because of the branches with all the leaves stinging over. So he can't like just really go high. But then again, he's mainly a spin putter, so it shouldn't be that big an issue. But again, putting with Sinus. Great putt. Great putt. The other thing about the course, just to take while we're looking at this, is many people, you might think the lines looks very tight. They are very tight out there. There's no doubt about it. But it is a very fair course. If you like, these are the best players in Denmark. There's no doubt about it, and they're there for a reason. So it's a course that I really like because it brings something else to the Danish community than what we've been used to. Very tight fairways. Oh.
Johan here with a very long look.
And that's a 1035 rated player right there that tells people to move away from the basket.
Yeah. And he's not angry about it. He just kindly informs them that please move away, and that's it.
15 years of expertise, dude.
Yeah.
Look.
And boom. Rain's a very nice birdie here. And that is the difference. I've experienced like firsthand, because as a camera guy I sometimes end up behind the baskets, and some people are like KJ, nice and quiet about it, and just quietly asks, hey, could you please move away? And there's nothing more to it. While other people it seems to bother them even after the players and the camera guys have moved. And it is a mental thing that.
Oh, that was a good birdie.
That everyone can learn from. Yeah, Sebastian had a really nice birdie here. Johan saves his bogey.
To give an idea, I didn't say really discs on the tee, but Sebastian there, his drive, which was of course very close, he did that with a PA1 400 plastic.
Yeah. Hole number 3, it's the first par 4 hole. It's 148 meters. You have to throw quite a bit straight, and then you have to land in the right zone for the upshot. Quite a tricky par 4 hole here. And the rough is very rough. No OB here.
Yeah. It is like you want to throw it around, I think it's like around 95 meters to 100 to end perfectly down at where it cuts in on the left, so you get to quite an open fairway. This is early. Yeah. He's going to have some work to do from there.
And even if you do make it around the corner, you can still end up in a tricky spot. But you want, as long as you're around the corner, you at least have a look.
Yeah, exactly. You need to at least get those 80 meters off the fairway, 80 to 85, so you get to where the cut kind of starts to open up. But if the perfect drive, we're talking like 100 meters down, and that's also early.
Yeah.
But he gets a good kick and comes back out. He should have a pretty okay open upshot from there.
Yeah.
Then we have Martin here. He's gonna throw a Pioneer, and I will tell you this Pioneer is not very beaten. It's just a strong guy throwing a very overstable disc. For me, a Pioneer is a Firebird. To try and explain for people who don't know altitude.
And that is a very straight Pioneer.
He actually throws it a little bit too far.
Yeah.
So a very good throw. Very good throw. And then that's the thing I like, because then we come to a guy who's a lot more technical and a lot more about the finesse shot. And that's Johan here, and Johan is going to throw a C-line FD, which is the complete opposite of what we just saw. You will notice on this round, if he has the screen disc in his hand, it's because he's throwing the FD, just for people's info. But you can see it there, a little bit more control, highs are flipping up, and he fights through the early window.
Yeah.
Great shot.
It came in a little early, but didn't really hit anything.
Yeah, you can get lucky, and he seemed like he got it.
Yeah. Up all night to get lucky. A mess, little low, skips on, and he skips on Sebastian's disc.
Yeah, that's a smart play right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, here you have Sebastian after his drive. He's throwing a very beat-in PA1 here. From what he told me. Oh no, that's not this throw. No, that was his normal. It was his PA1 400 right there.
Quite a bit of a tricky shot there, and KJ is in a tricky position here as well. Ends up in the left-hand side somewhere, a little hard to see. So Sebastian is contemplating his move.
decided to go and change disc, it looked like. I think this is the one where he's throwing this very old beat up PA1 he has. But these, like, you know, easy touch shot where you just wanted to flip and go straight without power. So, this guy is a huge talent. Gotta be honest. If we have a new KJ on the rise, this is the guy. This is the guy all the hype is about in Denmark.
Definitely.
15 years old. And yeah, look at that.
So bloody nice.
Yeah.
Ends up a little long off the basket, but he definitely has a look.
Yeah.
Mass
And this is where Mass landed.
In a slightly awkward position, and unfortunately snaps a tree. Almost snaps it in half.
Yeah. One tree less to worry about in this course.
Exactly. Stupid tree.
Yeah.
I don't think it's without reason that one of the local players from the local club has a shirt that says "stupid tree" on the back.
Yeah, exactly. It can only be Joris then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Johan here, you can see how far he got with his drive, even though he went the early route, which is a very tight route, so he's gotten a bit like, ooh!
To me I swear it looks like it went through the basket.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that.
Ends up a little long as well, but has a look for birdie from there. Mess here for birdie as well.
Birdie. Yeah. Laying up with the Berg, easy, relaxed.
And this is Martin's drive. He's on the far side of the fairway.
Yeah, he actually went a little bit too far from, like I said, from the perfect spot. You want to be on the path you see right in front. That's where you want to be. As soon as you get out there, you can get cut a little bit off, but it should be a pretty easy approach, and it also is.
Shout out to Joris, by the way, because he's the guy with the chainsaw cleaning up most of this course.
Yeah, he's doing a ton of work on the course. And KJ here that's for birdie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's been put a lot of work into this course compared to what it used to look like just half a year ago. Yannick, local guy from the club out there, who was the guy behind the club, the guy behind the course, Yannick Kuhl. Boo, sorry, that's his name now, yeah. Yannick Boo. His tremendous work to get this up and running. And also the TD on the tournament, not to forget. Which is Yannick Boo as well.
Yeah. So Johan here with, if I remember correctly, he did have a tree in the way, which meant that he had to do quite a bit of an awkward straddle putt. And this is even worse. That one tree between him and the basket is actually directly between him and the basket.
But also, Johan he was a guy who played some years ago, disappeared for quite many years, and then came back.
Yeah, he lived in Sweden for a while. That's why. I met him the same year I started playing disc golf. I have family on Fyn, where he's from as well. And I found out there was a disc golf course in Odense and a very, very dormant Facebook group. And I asked if anyone wanted to play disc golf, and he was home on holiday from his school in Sweden, and went out to meet me on the course. And he's a really, really nice guy. Yeah. And a good disc golfer as well, clearly.
Yeah, very good disc golfer, very down to earth guy. So KJ, good par for him. And this is for birdie.
Yep, easy bird.
Good strokes and folks right there. So you can see now Martin actually is taking the lead. This is what that's interesting about this course. It switches all the time. You can easily lose your strokes from one hole to another.
Hole number 4, another par 4, 150 meters. Slight S-curve to it. Again, a fairly narrow fairway, and there is a mandatory that you have to pass on the right.
Yeah. You want to kind of land where the red spot was on the preview video. That's where you want to land your drive. I can see right here Martin is throwing his compass. Also, Disc he throws a lot here. If you see him throw green mid-ranges, his compasses. But just a bit too early, goes in. Just a bit too early. He needed a little longer of that. And guess what? KC Pro Rock.
Yeah, for the really smart play here is to throw something not fairly straight, that doesn't have too much fade, and so you end up in the fairway.
Yeah.
KJ here goes a little bit too far right and has an unfortunate skip into the woods. It is relatively open on the right hand side, but
it's relatively open compared to what it is on the left side, which means it's open but not really open.
Mads ends up in the alternate fairway. Let's just put it like that. Gets a kick.
Yeah, get a really bad kick to the left side. But Sebastian here, he's throwing his PA1 400 plastic here. Again, this shows how much power and finesse this kid has. Because that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. You can't do it better than that.
Nice. So envious.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a green disc, so that's an FD. But yeah, as you can see, it is very tight line. If you kick a little bit more to the left, like let's say you kick to the left off the fairway with 15 meters, you come to like this other path, secret fairway you can use. But it's not really worth it. You want to take the primary fairway. There you see he actually went over the other path, Mads, with the kick he got. So he's like all the way over on the other side. And he has to take the alternative fairway down towards the basket.
And it's not a good fairway.
No, as you can hear.
Yeah.
It's very narrow. Very, very narrow.
And KJ here ended up on the right hand side of the correct fairway.
Yeah.
Looking for a gap out.
You can also say to people that don't know it, KJ is like what do you call landscape? Do you call it a gardener?
He's a landscaper.
Landscaper. Yeah. And he has also been out working very hard on this course together with Yannick, cutting down trees and everything to make it ready for DM. There's coming a hole later where he, no spoilers, but he regrets he didn't cut some more trees. But overall, I think it reminds maybe a little bit of some courses on the East Coast in the States, where you will find these extremely narrow fairways with a lot of trees.
Martin here is doing a little bit of landscaping himself.
Yep. If he decides to change application, he knows what he can do.
Yep.
But there you can see masses off the fairway onto the left. That was his third shot. And he's still not into the fairway because he goes aggressively up towards that very narrow path that is over there, or the alternative fairway. And that's why this course kind of is a course where a lot of times... Wow.
KJ manages to roll all the way to the basket and slightly past it. It's really hard to see in this footage, but the basket is right there in the middle.
It's down there, I'm pointing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a course where like many times the right option is just to kind of pitch out from a throw.
Yeah.
If you're in the rough, it's just gonna take too many strokes to try and go all out, and you won't win that much about it. So.
And you could argue if Mads should have pitched out earlier, but it's always it's a tricky decision. So this is where Sebastian ended.
You can say for Mads, if he want to play for the win, which I know Mads wants to, then he has to attack there because of what the score is right now.
Yeah.
And that's why he probably choose to go aggressive. But yeah, it was kind of impressive there. You saw that Johan and Sebastian both were in the same position. One threw a putter and the other threw a fairway driver.
Yeah.
I love. There's so many different ways of throwing.
Martin turns over his drive here a little bit, and you
Yep.
you can see two baskets here, but it is the closer basket, and Sebastian is just giving it a kind of a half go, but basically laying. Mads has a look at the basket here, a long look, but is also back in the fairway with the other guys now.
Yeah. That's, by the way, amazing with Mads. He's advised me every single throw which disc he throws.
Yeah,
and sometimes, but sometimes it's funny because he then came afterwards and when he had written to me and he was surprised about how few discs he actually used on a round compared to how many he carries, and it's actually always a surprise. I would advise many players just for fun in one round, one time, just try and look what you actually threw in that round, and then look how many discs in your bag you did not throw at all.
Yeah.
It tends to be half of the bag didn't go out in one round. You're just carrying empty plastic.
So both KJ and Johan here have slightly unlucky putts. Martin here is contemplating, should I throw left or right around that tiny tree? A bit
This
of
is one of the but this is one of the reasons why he likes the scenes, is because he say he can shape the putt more, like throw any and get an S putt out of it, and that's what he uses for. And he uses this very good for it. Gotta say that. Let's see if we can make this one here. I guess it's like around 7 meters.
Yeah. Par.
Never a doubt. What is Mads putting for here? Is it a bogey or is it a double?
I cannot remember.
We will see in a second.
Double.
It was a double.
Yeah.
I think Sebastian played it very clever when his second shot sadly didn't go as good as the first. So just laying up, taking it easy and getting the par and then move on.
Yeah. No shame in taking the par in this hole at all.
Yeah. No, it's a good par.
Even if he had the best drive, but everything can go wrong. So next hole here, hole number 5. It's 83 meters. It's a par 3. It's a little bit awkward. There's no OB here, but there is a really rough on the left. Rough on the right as well, but really rough on the left. You want to throw an long Annie, or maybe a controlled sidearm, but for me the sidearm shot seems a little risky. But Martin is going to try it anyway, because Martin.
100% agrees with you. The hole goes so deep into the left, or to the right, sorry, that it shapes up for a backhand right Annie, because you want it to glide to get to the basket. We saw the hole was not very far, and he threw a warhorse, and he's still not at the basket.
No.
And warhorse is a very, very, very overstable driver, like speed 13, 1+ in turn. I think it is. It's very dumb, overstable. But if he feels that's what gives him the best chance, because he might be feeling secure from that length, then that's the right to do. But here you see the more traditional, not hitting that tree, of course, but that's the more traditional play, to try and go for that backhand Annie and get it to glide all the way down to the basket, so you have a pretty easy and manageable putt. That's my play, and I seem to have success with that play on that hole.
Personally, on this hole, I've never made it to where I'm filming from. I either grip lock it right, really early, or I end up in the left-hand side of the fairway, like really early. I've never managed to do that.
There you see it.
And this
exactly what I'm saying.
This is the perfect play.
Yeah. You could have thrown it a little bit higher, so then it would have come in even closer to the basket. That's the only thing, but besides that, it's still fine. You have a pretty easy putt from there. And KJ is going for the same.
Probably an AVR.
Yeah, I think so too. It's KC Pro AVRs he throws.
Yeah.
I know from him. He swears to the KC Pro AVR.
Yeah, not that much glide, so he ends up a little earlier. Mads kicks a tree and goes into the rough.
So Johan's good throw we saw before that actually hold the ante and float the way down there was Sea Line MD.
Sebastian with a really good layup here from Les doing the same.
Same, yeah. Doesn't have too much other of an option. Just get up there and get your par at that point and move on. So outside the circle is what he's asking. They all say yes. So probably around 11, 12. You know, camera angle always cheats, so it looks closer than it is. No. He knew it the moment he left his name. Yeah.
Not able to capitalize on that.
It must also be weird for all these Americans probably watching this video, hearing KJ complaining and not complaining, but like talking in Danish instead of being like, oh, or he's like, nej. He knew the moment he left his hand that that was not going in. He said nej. That's the first thing that came out. That means no.
Yeah.
So Martin here for his birdie.
No, par. Oh, birdie. Sorry. Yeah.
Birdie, yeah.
I mean, even if the Warhorse might not have been the logical choice for you or me, he wasn't that far from the basket.
No, he was around circle's edge.
Yeah.
But he came in early off the basket and it had a lot of skip action, and I think that it wouldn't get that much skip action in much other weather, and that's why I think that shot is a shot you can't use all the time. Ooh.
And Johan here from within the circle, unfortunately, he...
Yeah. But again, you see it in the body language. He knew at the moment he released it that was wrong. That was not going in. And it always hurts. I feel that pain.
Yeah, Mads tells him to just put out, which is always a good thing to do, just to get it over with.
Yeah, so you can move on mentally, then you're done. Then it's time to let go and move on to the next hole.
But one thing that we do, what we can tell about Johan is that he's actually very good at playing in the woods, because his local course is a very tight course as well. Yeah. So he's used to hitting trees. He knows that it doesn't help complaining. He knows that it doesn't help kicking his bag or screaming, or so he will hit a tree and he will just shrug it off like, yeah, business as usual. I'm very surprised that no one actually got the birdie here. Yeah, me too.
There's such a birdable hole.
Hole number 6, the shortest hole on the course, 57 meters. It's fairly straight. The basket is on the right-hand side of the fairway, but there is OB right behind the basket on the path to the right. So
and also long.
So you don't, so you don't want to throw a sidearm here because you might end up skipping. So you will see players do this, throw a fairly controlled. Yeah, a spike. Well, you will see Martin throw a spike here.
Yeah. A spike is an understable putter, so it's one of the few times you see him throw understable. And here we have Sebastian. He's throwing his trusty PA1 in 300 plastic, I think it is.
It does kick.
Nope, it's not. It's the PA1, but it's the beat up one in 400. Or it is a 300 place. Sorry. But again, here we have Johan, and Johan is going to throw a P2 right now. Yeah. But like you said about Johan with the Odense course, I talked with him in the weekend because my friend who was on lead card on day 2, he wasn't on lead card this round, I caddied for him. Very nice shot there with the P2. And he said that, I was talking with him about it, and he said that because he's used to playing with all those trees, that when he hits a tree, it doesn't affect him. He doesn't think about it because he's just used to hitting a tree. It happens. He doesn't think about it that much. While other people like me, who's used to playing in that department, where there's hardly any trees, I can feel frustrated when I hit 4 trees in a row.
And KJ here, instead of taking the fairway, he actually throws through the trees. And Mads nails it.
Yep. That was I will tell which disc it is once.
This is the second ace I've ever caught on camera, by the way.
So he
Schmidt.
He threw record. Beat in the record, putting from past the plus.
Yeah, he knew it right from the start, as he said in Danish here.
He said he called it on the tee. So it's actually this former Danish champion girl called Lydia. It's her signature disc.
Yeah.
That he aced.
Lydia Helgren, a signature record.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not the first time he aces that hole either in a tournament.
Sebastian here for birdie. Quite a hard follow-up after watching Mestius ace it.
Yeah. I don't know if you can say like that it will give you. It will probably give you a little bit extra nerve. You'll feel a little bit of pressure. Some people can live on that hype. Now other people can get hit by that hype. But can you say he got big putted when it was a drive from the tee that went in, or?
I don't know. Martin here for bird, no problem.
No problem.
KJ for bird as well, and I'm still not sure how he actually made it through those trees, but he did.
When you're a landscaper, you're good friends with trees. But you can see that path people are standing on, that's the OB path we're talking about. So if Mads wouldn't have aced it, there's no doubt he would have went OB.
Yeah. So hole number 7, 98 meters par 3. Again, a fairly straight hole. The basket is this time on the left-hand side of the fairway. You want to stay on the fairway.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
this hole.
No doubt.
If you go to the rough on each side, it's a pitch up. There's nothing. You need to stay on the fairway and not go deep. If you don't land on the fairway, just stay like then at least just hope you stay somewhere near to it. But that was a nice shot from Mads there. He threw his fat.
And it did look like he was close to the basket, but he still has a little bit of a look.
Yeah. And when there's a straight line, let's throw a pioneer, Martin says.
Yeah.
And somehow he flipped it. I give up.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. And you can hear the wind. It doesn't look up much, but there is quite a good amount of wind actually out on the course this last day. And it does affect a bit. We live in a very windy country here.
Johan kicks a fairway retreat, does end up in the fairway.
And now it's swirly T-Bird, KJ's own signature disc time. I saw him throw it the day before, and he parked it. So let's see if he can do the same. And ta-da! He can.
Yeah, no problem.
That's such a great shot.
He did go a little bit long, but not, it was pretty okay.
Yeah, but it was still hitting that line so smooth, so straight. That's the joy of disc golf for me right there. Little flip on that one, but at least in the middle of the fairway. And if you look at your hand stop shot here, the disky thrower, he's throwing the P2 again. It's like the one he is throwing on basically 80% of every off shot. He told me. Nice, controlled.
A little bit of an annoying kick away from the basket, but he's down there. Yeah. Martin has a bit of an awkward look here. You can just exactly see the basket on the right hand side of the screen, but all of these trees are in his way.
Yeah, I think he has to do this kind of pending where he still needs to throw a hyzer out to the right. and then get it to come back in because he doesn't have a direct line. So to get out to the fairway, you need to throw something high up and let it glide in. And he's not that far from the basket, but I know he's throwing a retro compass, and that's simply just to get that glide.
No problem.
So great shot, great shot.
Sebastian has a long look here.
Yeah.
Despite his kick into the trees and out again.
This is one of the holes where you normally, if you get a birdie, you took a stroke on most of the field. There's not many birdies on this hole in the tournament. Good line, just a bit low though, just a bit low.
Mess here for his look.
I had the tree in front of him. Had to kind of throw it out on that severe howitzer. And that KJ's drive, as you said, a little long. Little tree in the way, but let's see if he can't find a way around it. And then his trusted caddy Adam, who always caddies for him in Denmark.
And Adam is a pretty good disc golf player who doesn't want to play tournaments. Nice birdie from KJ here.
I played with Adam in my first Danish Championship in 2000. What was that? 14 or something, I think it was. And that's the last time I ever seen him play a tournament. Good putt from Johan.
Johan gets a par here. Rough.
So nice to see him.
Yeah, nice to see him get that putt.
Yeah, exactly. He had a little bit of not on the previous hole because he was so close to it, but like the holes before, he had that little bit unlucky pull to the right and stuff. So it's good to get one back right there, and from a little distance and get some confidence built back up. And he putts, by the way, Johan there. He putts with very beat up P2 in D line.
Okay, hole number 8, 122 meters, but it's only a par 3. There's no OB left or right, but there is really rough to the left. There is an open field to the right, but you have to kind of get out there in order to utilize that open field. And there is a fence around that field of trees there, but the fence does not indicate OB.
No. There's those two trees in the middle, and that's basically, you need to get, of course, past them, and you don't want to go into the left, as you said. So for me, this hole, I played it kind of safe. I don't want to go for the birdie. I played out the gap to the right of the two trees in the middle, and try and land somewhere out there on the fairway and have an upshot. Both guys here trying to go a bit aggressive, and both hitting the two trees in the middle. So they're standing in a pretty good positions, those three, to like not just allow you to just fully rip to get to the basket. You need to hit your line correctly, which I like about this hole. They are very well positioned, those two trees. So far, 3 for 3.
Yep.
Did you get that punt?
Nope. Yeah. And so the players are joking a little bit about the where they actually end up. KJ thinks he's in a really bad spot, like in a really bad spot, but which he jokingly says to Johan that you want to trade lies, or Martin.
I'm watching here.
So Johan makes it out here, and it's a little hard to follow the disc out there, especially with Sebastian stepping in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's out in the open.
Yeah. The thing about KJ is also that he was so calm about it. He was just like, it's just mad. What happened? It's just yeah. It is what it is. Now we move on. That's
Sebastian
a really good shot.
Sebastian takes the left route with something flippy and ends up past the basket.
He threw an H1 V2 with 400 plastic. A great shot. That's the shot you want when you're on this level. So Martin here, is throwing a compass.
Out on a Tyson here.
It's really, really good. But the thing about Martin is also fun. His mid ranges is 4 compasses and 1 justice, and that's it.
Well, if that's all you need,
it works. Then you have Mass. He's trying with the Gutte with some forehand action here. Gets in a bit early, maybe cuts. I don't know.
Cuts a little bit earlier. I don't think it actually rolls, but it just cuts in early.
But not that bad for KJ. He's not deep. The day before he was maybe 5 times longer in than he is now at the same spot, and there was nothing.
There's nothing.
He had to, he had to lay out to the fairway. He had nothing. He couldn't do anything. So today he at least has a chance to throwing that highs out over everything. Still a tough shot, no doubt about it. But at least he has the option today. Someone called it to go in.
Yeah. A little hard to see where he ended up. I think he ended in. Yeah, he ended in left side of the basket.
Yeah.
The messes down by the basket here. Really nice upshot with his black Berg.
Exactly. And this is where Johan landed or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great drive. It seems like he's on length with the basket.
Doing a little bit of pre-putt Tai Chi. Visualizing the putt.
And then he breathed in, and then he breathed out.
Yeah.
Ooh.
A little bit too high. And this is Sebastian.
He went too far?
He went too far.
I don't even think I've ever been 10 meters, the closest thing is maybe 15 meters short of the basket. He's 15 and he's,
Yeah.
He's so clean and throws so far. So effortless. Yeah. Great putt, great birdie. Confidence.
And now he's just 1 stroke behind again.
And the guy that's standing next to him and who is a head shorter than him is like 25 or something.
Yeah.
In his caddy.
Well, Sebastian is a head taller than most people. Almost a head.
When I met him when he was 10, he didn't even go up to my chest height.
No.
Yeah. But there's some cleanup for some par and a bogey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bird, a bogey, 2 pars. Hole number 9, 73 meters. You have the you have a little creek or stream to the left, which is OB. So the creek and beyond is OB, and yeah, fairly short but technical hole here.
Yeah.
There is a little bush right next to the basket that you don't want to be in. Sebastian here.
That's the one you're filming right there. It's thorns. You really don't want to be in it. And don't ask me why I know. I just know very, very well. I know.
The rough is rough.
Yeah. And KJ with KC Pro EVR from the tee. My guess is he's trying to maybe do a small flex with one of his more stable KC Pro EVRs. Just hold the ante, but it was the shot he was trying.
It will give him a look to the basket. It's a hard hole to film because there's not even room behind the tee pad to film. So
yeah, I think you found a good position there. It's of course they don't really see the water, but the water shouldn't be in play for these players anyways. So it's a good position you have there.
So Martin also really nice line, but rolls quite a bit away, but fortunately rolls back, and he is fairly close to the basket as well.
And that was a seamless.
Of course.
Yeah. And this is an MD. That was the same one he threw on hole 5, I think it was. A C-line MD. Johan is a guy who doesn't throw really stable stuff that much. He relies more on the technique. He doesn't also throw fast discs. He tries to keep it under speed 10 as max. I think he throws one disc at one point that's faster than speed 10.
Ooh, Mads has an early kick, but fortunately gets a kick out on the fairway on the edge here.
So what do? You throw the same disc again?
Yeah.
Because you can't do that 2 times in a row.
And you actually go for it. So KJ here has a few tiny branches in his line of in his line here, but if you want to win, you have to go for it.
Yeah.
No problem.
Great putt. Great putt.
And this one could actually easily have been in the stream because the stream is right behind the basket.
Yeah. You can also see the line. If you look, Larry, on the video, there is a line drawn up, so people wouldn't have to stand on the side. So the line is all the way up there, actually, pretty close to where he is, where Mads is.
Yeah. So 2 birds, a par, and Johan here.
For bird, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And Sebastian is also here for a bird.
Yeah, with his PA1 400 plastic. He throws that one quite a lot on these holes, technical holes, and throws it well, I must say.
So hole number 10. It's this is a tricky one. It's 172 meters, par 4. The tee pad is moved to the right-hand side of the bush where it is now on the map. There is OB in the lake and there's OB in the stream on the left-hand side. And you kind of want to throw up to a like there is a sweet spot where all the players are basically throwing to.
I would say sweet spot is approximately 80 to approximately 80 meters straight. Small. You of course want to go a little bit to the right, but you don't want to go too much to the right because then you might cut off your angle if you get to the right too early. If you have the power like these guys have, you just want to go where Sebastian goes.
Yeah. And Sebastian wasn't too happy about this throw, but he actually ended up in a good spot. For his power, the next shot is no problem.
Yeah. Which was also interesting. He threw an F5 400 plastic, which is a flippy disc. But for his forehand game is not very strong, so then he actually powers, takes something more unstable, and then just does it slower and cleaner. And it worked, as you saw. Even though he didn't throw it very high, it still had the glide of that disc.
KJ
also
good. A little bit on the left-hand side here, but
yeah. And yeah, like with KJ Rock, guess what with Martin? Compass. Wow.
Yeah. Surprise.
Surprise. Yeah. It's like if Martin could pick 2 discs, it's basically Compass and Sinus, I think. They do great stuff for him. Johan is also going to his red C-line MD3. So you can see it is around those 80, 90 meter throw you want to get out there. I think it is approx. To just get out there and lie.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever.
Mads was for a short period contemplating actually going for the basket because this hole is eagleable, but you have to hit the perfect line and the perfect power to actually get over to the basket from the tee. But it's a tough eagle. It was done during this tournament, but it's not something the pros go for. So no, here, so here you can see they're throwing. Oh, sorry, yeah.
The fun fact about that eagle was the eagle was made in MA recreational, the lowest level of players in the field, and there was a guy there who made the eagle, which is completely blew my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
A little bit nuts.
Did he make
No, he did not make it across. So the basket is fairly close to the lake here on the other side of the lake, and it's a little tricky to see the line from. Well, you can't see the line from where the players are. They can only see the top of the basket.
Yeah.
And the wind is playing a little bit tricks with them, and
actually one of the things that cheats the most is like you see all this growth in the lake. I don't know what you call that in English, but the things that is
reeds.
Like greens that are standing up there. It stands so when you see the basket, it kind of cheats your distance. You think that there is you think that there's actually longer to the basket. That's at least what I felt. I outdrove that basket so many times when I thought I was perfect. Then I came up and then I was like 20 long. So a very well designed hole because it actually plays with your mind a lot.
Yeah. And KJ is not in the line where he can see the basket here, which is why he just ran out. There are some tall trees on this side of the lake that kind of blocks his view, but he still has a good hole, like a hyzer hole to the basket.
You don't need to go over the water. Of course, these guys will all do it because of their power, but you can also go around the lake and play it safe that way around. But then, of course, the birdie's like out of play. Even the par can be hard, but the option is there.
Yeah. So Mads, since he went OB, has to throw from here.
His fourth shot.
And this is just a touch sidearm with a Berg.
Yeah. You can see KJ came a little bit off course with his shot when he couldn't see the basket exactly where he threw from.
But that's no problem.
But it's no problem when you want to pop that hard, so it feels like the basket was going to fight up to stay up. Damn. He would have had a longer compagger if he hadn't made it.
And Johan here is, like, he went long in his upshot, as you just said.
Yeah.
But again, the wind was also playing a little bit tricks on the players out here, so they, just to be safe, you want to go a little bit long.
Yeah. You have more space to play with long of the basket than short. And you just don't want to end up short. That's like the thing, like really short, because then, like, for example, Martin there is actually maybe a meter from the OB line, right there. And if he hadn't made it in, he would have been standing on the other side and throwing. So then rather throw 10 long than 10 short. And that hurt.
That hurt a lot.
Mass here for bogey. Mass is putting with Recros, if I haven't said that. Now I have.
No problem.
Yeah. I always say they're the worst bogeys to get because you only got to throw 4, but anyways you have to write 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is for Bird. Nice birdie. So now you can see we have a 3-man tie on the top.
Yep.
After the first 10. Very
was a
very close race.
Really interesting final round.
It's been years since we've been having that.
Mads is just out here picking up his disc. He was really close to making it. Hole number 11, 215 meters par 4. It basically plays like a par 5, but no players were unhappy about this hole. It's a really technical hole, really tight fairway, OB left on the far, like on the left hand side, quite a bit up on the fairway, and of course OB right all the way, basically all the way to the basket.
There was also OB left in the tournament, not as the sign said there, but it was OB left all the way up on the left side as well.
Basically
so
past where the guy in the
technical.
white is, so really technical. Sebastian here with an early OB left, unfortunately, and the wind here again is really playing tricks on the players.
But I think this is. I had a conversation with the TD because some people think this hole set as a par 4 is a bit tough because there's not really made birdies on it. But when we talked about it, in some perspective, when you look at the distance, it's a little over 200. You could practically throw a mid-range, 70 meters, 70 meters, 70 meters, and then you should actually be long off the basket.
Yeah, but
So in that sense, the par 4 makes sense.
And as I said in the intro to the hole, none of the players I talked to were actually unhappy about the par rating on it. They all thought it was a really thought it was a really fun hole because it was tricky. It's a tricky hole, and
it's so different.
And they didn't care about it being rated as a par 4 or 5 because it was a fun hole that kind of divided people. And
100% agree. 100%. These two holes we see out here, 10 and 11. They are a lot of time the score dividers on this course, even though they are the open holes. This is where you really see the score dividers. I took the highest score of any person in the tournament on this hole in the first day when we had the storm and the rain. No one even came close to taking I took a 12.
Oh wow, ouch.
Yeah, 11 or 12 it was.
I've personally taken a 10 on this hole, so I feel you.
Yeah, but then the next day I hit basket for birdie, like from maybe, I think it was like 15 out for the birdie putt. So that just shows that the hole is well designed. I just had a bad day, let's just say that, the first day. And I played decent the 2 other days. We can't be having great days all the time. I'm not good in the rain and on storms. And it rained and it stormed, so...
Oh yeah. We had all sorts of weather this weekend, and this is it ended up on a good note, fortunately.
A very good note.
Sebastian here for his third shot after only throwing once.
And he's throwing the F5 that he threw in the drive on hole 10 here. And that's just perfect.
And the fairway does open up on the left, so if you can make it past that corner, you're pretty safe.
But I also go for the play that like he did. He threw a empty, a mid-range. I also throw an empty, like a truth, the OG truths. So just to try and go straight down the fairway and lie in the middle, so you have an opening for your second shot.
A little bit low, and unfortunately this grass does not skip at all.
It's not like a grass field, this thing. It's you know the word, I don't.
It's a very bumpy meadow, that's what it is.
Yeah. And here we have Martin throwing the warhorse again.
Gets it up in the open.
Yeah.
And the spot in the background for this hole for this round is JR, Jakob Rasmussen, by the way.
The spotter? On the background, yeah.
Yeah.
When you were on the tee, it was this nice guy called Morten Storm.
Yeah.
Who's sadly been injured for over a half year now. Hope to see him out soon again.
Yeah. Good old classic knee injury, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, that flipping too much.
So this is Mads from his drive.
And he's gonna throw a beat up Stål from Kasterplads now.
You can hear the wind here a little bit.
That must be a very beat up Stål if you can get it to heiser flip.
Oh yeah.
I know he's strong, I know he throws far. But that's just not human.
Mads is not human. that's how it is.
Yanked it a bit.
It is a bit of a tricky shot here because you have the birch trees and like right between Johan and the basket. So either you want something that flips around it, or you want to hit that gap between the birch trees and the OB bushes.
Yeah,
so here, and this is what we saw on hole number 1 with the KC Pro AVR. That any shot.
But look at his disc there. Look how close it is to be in bounds. It's so little.
Look at the spotter. It's a little hard to see with this crappy camera, but he's basically going, whew, wow.
Yeah.
And
That was a very, very good up from there.
Martin for a really long look at bird.
If it wasn't a compass, then what was it there?
Harbor Sinus.
Still Sinus. Oi! I think that's one of the closest. Oh, he went OB, so that was not close for par. But see, this is for bird. And he's the only one who actually has a proper bird look.
Oh, just a little bit too low.
And now when he missed that, then I can say that in this whole weekend, out of all 3 rounds, with over, I think we're like 120 people playing, there was 1 birdie on this hole.
Yes.
1. And it was Rasmus Frey who won MA2? No, MA1 advanced.
Yeah.
So,
pretty good player as well, pretty solid.
yeah, very solid player, big talent as well. He's been playing for a couple of years. He bombs. You just need a bit more consistency all over, then he can be up there as well. He actually reminds me of Mads Schmidt when Mads Schmidt came and won amateur DM back in 14
Yeah.
or 15. I don't remember when it was.
It was 14.
Yeah, it was 14. It kind of reminds me of that type of player. So if he keeps on going, he will be up there.
That was the Sinus. For par.
How can you putt a Sinus so straight? Well, what's that about?
This guy works out.
Go look at that body. No, I can't sing that. You're gonna get copyright.
Yeah. Well, you can sing it out of tune. It's fun, which you did. But no, there is a funny story behind all these putters that Martin is throwing for this DM. Because during the spring where we weren't able to play any tournaments at all. Okay, let's introduce hole number 12 first. It's 132 meters par 4. It's uphill. You're throwing with on the other side of the field with all the small trees where across from hole number 8, but now it's uphill, and the basket is a little bit tucked into the trees up at the end there, and you really do not want to be on the left hand side here.
The basket is like 15 meters deep from the tree line, and it plays severely more uphill than the camera will show because it cheats. You can't really see the hill going up. It's not insane, but it does play uphill. Yeah, and that's the reason why
it's maybe 3 meters or something like that.
I think it's more. I actually think it's a bit more.
Yeah, probably.
And it's a par 4 for that reason. But big arms and big gun can get up there. Yeah. This is the only time you're gonna see this guy not throwing Casterblast. He is throwing a Ballista Pro up to X Chameleon.
It's pretty good shot. So the basket is where those spectators are standing. You can see it right at the end of the path there, but it's a little tricky to see.
Yeah.
No, but Sebastian here has a really good drive. It does look like it ends up a little bit short left, but he felt pretty confident about it because he actually managed to birdie this hole in round 1 and 2. So let's see what happens when we get up there for this shot.
Yeah, KJ there. KJ Hank Kasten, he I don't know why I'm speaking English. KJ threw a slightly like a beat up destroyer there in the drive, no doubt about it. And Sebastian, he threw a D2, and he's also up there. Just to say, I was on card with Sebastian in first round, and he put in an eagle on this hole from 20 meters.
Oh yeah, he eagled the hole. That's what he did in round 1 and 2.
And round 2, he was on card with the lead card, and I was caddying for a guy on lead card, and he had like maybe a 4-meter putt for eagle, and eagled it.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get a chance to eagle it all 3 rounds.
Yeah, it's a little insane. Pretty good upshot from Martin here. The basket is kind of tucked away in those tiny trees there. And as just like on hole number 8, the fence here does not indicate OB. It's just to keep animals out from eating the top of the trees.
Yeah, they're trying to get the trees to grow, so there will be more trees in this hole in the future. It's been an open field, so that's why they're trying to like make more forest. So this is Mads for eagle here with his Reco, and they say he's outside circle.
No problem. I'm really happy about getting these shots on camera because it's so nice. And
then
and KJ is asking him to actually measure out the distance for his shot, so he knows if he's inside out, in or out.
Yeah.
It's not to show off.
Right there.
Yeah, it's not to show off. It's actually to help another player.
As I thought it was until I was told. So this is also for eagle.
Fortunately,
sadly just a bit too low. He knew that one was important.
So Sebastian did actually have a short drive, but the spectators told us afterwards that the disc rolled off a tree and towards the basket.
Yeah.
Like, how lucky can you be?
When you're 15, you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah. And he has a fairly open shot at the basket here, so let's see if he gets a third eagle.
And
yep.
he does.
3 eagles out of 3 rounds on the same hole.
And that's why it was important for Katie to get the eagle, because Martin is having a birdie putt now, and they could have a 3-man tie again on -12 in a second. If, of course, Martin needs to make this one first. It doesn't look like he has a super nice lie to make this in. He needs to somehow throw around the tree, or
yeah, it's a little tricky.
Yeah, he's throwing an Annie. Nope, not getting it. And this is for birdie for Johan.
Yeah.
This is the hole, I would say. It's a must. It's a but it's a musket birdie for every MPO player.
Oh yeah.
If you're 900 rated plus rated player, this is a musket birdie hole, because you can pretty easily throw. It's 134. You can pretty easily, my level, I can throw the 95-meter shot up there, and then just have like 30-meter upshot, and then should have basically a spinner. Yeah.
Hole 13, 125 meters par 4. Again, a really tight fairway up to the red dot, and you have to be in the right spot to get the good upshot for hole number 2.
Yeah. This hole is the hole where players were not happy. Yeah. This is the one hole that I heard many players talk bad about. I don't think this hole is bad. It's very tight down the opening. Maybe you can open up a bit more, but I do to some extent think it's fair, because it is a par 4 and it's still like only 130 something, and it was eagled in one of the rounds, not by a throwing but by a putt, and the same guy actually hit basket for eagle in the next round again.
Yeah, but
just from up there where the opening is.
But there is a little bit of luck involved here as well, because you have to hit the perfect gap past where I'm filming from.
This is the.
And this is, by the way, the hole where the whole left-hand side is is aptly named Mordor.
Yeah, but if you kick far enough, there's actually a secret fairway.
Yeah.
Then do not ask me why I know.
You know a guy?
But it's actually good because somehow I scrambled to get a birdie putt. I didn't get the birdie, but I scrambled and got a pretty easy par. I had a drop in. So, but yeah, this is also after the drive. KJ comes up there and he felt like he did a good drive, but he's not happy when he got to see what it is. And this is the whole way he actually said, "I wish I would have cut down some more trees."
Yeah.
He said that on day 2, I think, when I was walking around.
He told me as well after when he asked me what he hit, and I pointed at that tree and said, well, and he said, well, it wasn't a bad shot. It was just too many trees.
Yeah.
And just,
I agree with this whole that you can cut a bit more trees up there in the opening.
Yeah.
Oh, this I have to say. He's throwing an outtro X stiletto.
Yeah. Because why not?
Yeah. If you want to see a disc not fly, then look here. This disc is just. Yeah.
It's a disc so overstable it has its own theme song.
Look at it. Yeah, but then it's an outtro X, which makes it even more overstable. It's such a dumb disc. I can't throw it. I've tried and I can't.
Schmidt would sidearm stilettos when I started playing with him back in 14, 15. Like he would flick a lot.
Yeah.
And that was with the stiletto and triple X and stuff like that.
So now it looks like Sebastian is trying to go for a forehand roller. Probably with some cut is what I would expect. Okay.
That was a pretty good upshot from there.
He hit a branch, and it still kept on rolling and went the right way. Gotta take what you can get, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so pretty. That was
he went too far.
Felk. Yeah, but that was a felk he threw there with a forehand, but that was so butter. So butter. You can see they've actually went too far with their drives, Johan and KJ. They went a little bit too far, and that's the thing I think that surprised a lot of people with this hole, that a lot of them are attacking it with fairway drivers or overstable drivers. Me personally, I threw a mid-range, and I throw mid-range mainly when I'm there, and it kind of works. If I don't hit one of the trees, of course, then I'm actually fading in around where towards the opening, and then I have a pretty easy upshot up to the basket from there, and should have a birdie look. So
I've been roughly where Martin is with a Fury once.
Yeah. But I think it's because they want that aggressive skip with their drivers. They almost want to get the eagle look, and maybe if you're not that greedy and throw the mid range instead, that's more controllable, and throw it on the hyzer, then you should be able to get out there.
KJ attacks for a birdie here, and this is Mass's birdie look. He's way behind the basket.
Yeah. Oh.
Just a touch too low, but
you can just hear on the audience how much it hurted them. It hurted them almost more than it hurts him.
Even KJ is going like, oh, only 2 centimeters. Johan here, slightly outside the circle, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it looks like it for sure. Yeah,
and he felt that in all the way.
Yeah,
you could just
great
tell.
putt.
And you can see him going, oh, really nice putt. He's still in the game. There's
definitely. It can change so quickly on this course.
Yeah.
Nothing is over until the last putt is made on the last hole on this course.
It was quite interesting because at this point, when I'm filming these tournaments, I don't actually follow the scores because really nice bird from Martin here as well.
Yeah.
But no, I can't. I have no idea what the score is unless a spectator shows me the scores. So at this point, I didn't even know that it was actually still this close. So
You're just going around chilling, watching some disc golf.
yeah,
Look at them throwing some amazing shots.
Exactly. Thinking to myself, why can't I do that?
Thinking, why wasn't I 10 years old and found disc golf so I could be Sebastian Pauli?
So this is the shortest par 4 hole on this course, 113 meters. It is a little technical because you do have to you have to throw out of a tight gap, and then you have basically 2 ways to get to the basket. You see the 2 black holes here in the distance, and those are basically the 2 fairways you have. The left one is a bit more open, probably for these players. So
I know from the TD and the guy behind the course that this was supposed to be a par 3 because he changed the tee position when he made the course, but when he ordered all the tee signs, he had forgotten it. So all the tee signs came as a par 4, and then he was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep it as a par 4. Then there's just gonna be some eagles on this hole, and there is eagles every tournament on this hole.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. It's just a number.
I actually feel like the Eagles has dropped a bit lately in the last years that there's not that many Eagles there used to be. Now it's almost the whole 13 that gets eagle, or 12 that gets eagle more than this hole.
Martin gets a really nice kick here.
That's what happens when it's your own signature disc of Halkadanski you throw. That was a getaway. They tried to get away, but it came back to the fairway.
Yeah.
Sebastian is throwing a D2 400 plastic forehand here.
And if you do have a long sidearm, this is a sidearm hole. But unfortunately, he pulls it a little bit too much over and ends in a really bad spot.
Yeah, but his reaction. I know there was a reaction there and a hit in the hand, but he wasn't that angry. And compared to the guy that I just knew 3 years ago, that's Sebastian back then.
Oh yeah.
He would have went on the tee pad and start kicking and hitting it and get super angry. He's maturing so much.
For a 15-year-old, there are lots of mature, grown-up players that could learn a lot from this guy.
Myself included.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And here we have Mr. First Run thrower only, basically Kasterplast. Mess.
Yeah.
Very nice shot there.
Very nice shot. He does end up in the in the trees in the middle of the 2 fairways up there, but it's still fairly open in there, so it's okay.
Yeah. So it kind of looks like he has a very tight gap in here. And Thijs was a great support for him here in the final round. The caddy he has there. Keeping his head cool, and look at that.
This is just
holy moly.
And he goes through the trees in the middle there and doesn't hit anything.
That was one of the first things I learned when I went to a first disc golf practice. There is no trees.
There are no trees.
And if you believe it long enough, then you don't hit them.
Yeah. 90% of the course is air.
Yeah.
Martin here just puts it up.
Laying up with a Phoenix. Easy.
And he's jokingly saying to his caddy that, "Oh wow, can I really get a birdie here?" I think it's a reaction to how his first 2 rounds were. I can't remember the scores there, but
I don't think he birdied the hole. I think he parred it. And again, it's a hole that, if you are over 900 rated, you want a birdie. You cannot accept if you do not get a birdie on this hole. And that's also why that the guy behind the course, he wanted to make it a par 3, because it's it's an in-betweener. There wouldn't be that many birdies, but yeah. Different countries lean different ways. It seems like in Finland and Sweden that if it's a tweener hole, they go towards what's harder. While we in Denmark, we go the opposite way. We go towards what's maybe a little bit easier to get there. But secure a little layup there from Johan.
Semi-go layup thingy.
So Sebastian, to keep up with Martin, he needs to make this one.
And we are quite a bit out here, so it's a little tricky.
I think he's about 25.
Ignore the trees. There are no trees.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty good bit.
Yeah, that was a good bit, definitely. And time to clean up the par and move on. And if you're wondering what the baskets are, they are actually Prodiscut's target basket.
Ooh.
I guess you don't have many of those in the States. It's the only course in Denmark with them. They're great baskets.
So clean up here. Johan, Mads, KJ with birdies. Martin here for birdie. Can he make it? Yes. And Sebastian getting a par after that unfortunate drive. So hole number 15, it's 69 meters long, par 3. Again, we have two fairways to choose from. Sidearm on the left for the right-handed sidearm players, or straight shot with on the right-hand side.
Many people say this hole is like hole 2. It looks like hole 2 if you go back and look at that. The thing is, when you play it, it plays different. On hole 2, I would throw a warden, and I would easily, I would get to the basket. I wouldn't go long off the basket. On this hole, if I throw the warden with the same shot, I'm throwing it OB.
Yeah.
This is so much more a seamless shot, for example, for me. I would throw seamless in this hole. Also, the line is a little bit different, so a very good shot there from Johan.
And you can see on hole number 2, Johan went sidearm, but on this hole he went backhand.
Yeah, he went with the P2 backhand shot.
Yeah. And actually nearly threw it in. So. And as Stefan said, there is OB behind the basket here, but it's a little further away. But there is OB there that you have to think about. Martin,
what did you think Martin threw?
Sinus. Sinus or
harp? No, don't say harp anymore. Just say sinus.
Oh, I want to say harp at least one more time. Spoiler alert.
You will get that.
But that's another color. The blue one is the sinus. Yeah.
And KJ is throwing the KG Pro Aviar, as he also threw on hole 2.
Surprise.
Yep. I think that's the more stable one of them. And can you see what I say? It's so easy because he tried to do it. It looks like he threw it kind of the same shot as hole 2, but then you throw it directly into that rough in the middle there.
And that middle is rough, especially the beginning of it.
And it seems like Mads has learned, so Mads is throwing a Berg instead. Sadly, a little offline, but he switched up from the Goethe to a Berg. Probably because of the OB throw on hole 2, I think. I don't know. But
yeah, the Goethe would have been way too far for this one.
Yeah. PA1 here, 400, Sebastian. He's thinking if I park this one, I put some pressure on Martin for sure. And KJ as well, who's not parked. We're coming down the wire. It seems like you threw a little far.
Stop. Do something, hit something. And he is a little far off the basket, but he is safe. There is, the OB is quite a bit away from the basket.
But I would like for the people who's watching this, again, he's 15 years old. Look how calm he is. We are on hole 15, or 15 in the tournament of the Danish Championship final round. He's one stroke off the lead for winning.
Yeah.
And he's so calm.
Little touch shot from Mads. That is the number 1 touch sidearm specialist in Denmark is for me Mads Schmidt.
With a Berg.
With like anything, putter, but especially Berg. But every time, because I've started throwing my mercies with a little touch sidearm shots. Yeah. And actually saved some birdies that way. So.
I do it sometimes with my wardens as well. Actually, I do something most people...
He's throwing a sinus for birdie.
Yep.
Do you think he's gonna make it?
Martin!
Yes.
Of course he is. How could you even expect not to? It's like if he has a sinus in the hand, you know magic is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I agree with the sidearm thing. I'm throwing like some understable stuff with sidearm. I'm throwing my bite. Super soft.
Yeah.
And it gets me out of so many trouble shots. That big form push we saw on the previous hole, like on hole 9 that I was talking about that I was in. I had to lean out and actually almost lie down and just do a flick with a wrist with a bite, forehand Annie, and I made it there. Great birdie putt, Sebastian.
And he did have an awkward straddle around that tree, but
Yeah. And you can see that meant something, that one, because that was not his normal putting way of putting.
Johan
And
here for bird as well.
This is one of those holes you want. Good birdie there.
No problem. So
that was par for KJ and Mass, and then I guess it's on to 16. Yeah. But you could see there on Sebastian that like he is aware of the score. He knows he's one off. He knows that was important. Mass doesn't care. He aced. Nothing matters.
yeah.
Clapping of himself. Clap of you as well, Mass.
Hole number 16, 86 meters par 3, and it's a funny little hole because it's a really technical hole. Slightly downhill. It's not suitable for anyone actually. So it's for many people. Even though I've never been able to birdie this hole, I like this as well because it is a really good technical hole.
It's my favorite hole on the course, and I've never birdied it.
Yeah.
Because it keeps on force. Like when I'm on this tee, if I'm playing casual, I will empty my bag because I want to find that perfect flight.
Yeah.
Which you wanna do on this hole. I saw on this day Thomas Rasmussen on Chase card absolutely parked it with I think it was an MD that he just flipped up and it rode just around the trees down the middle. It was perfect, but it's such a technical shot.
Yeah.
And then it goes downhill where the basket is, so you need to have something that controls speeds when it lands.
And you have that line of trees in the middle of the fairway there, and if you don't make it, if your disc doesn't turn enough before you get to those trees, you're screwed as well. And
the thing about the hole is it looks easy, but it's everything but easy. That's the thing.
And Martin has the good line here, but unfortunately he makes it past the first tree on the left hand side, but then there are so many trees behind that one.
Yeah.
Does get a kick to the right hand side, but and it is open on the right hand side down there, but there are no gimmies here at all.
No gimmies, no. Sebastian is throwing a PA1 300 plastic.
Yeah, talk. Nice.
And I actually think he's short. There's no clapping behind the basket, so but it's still a good drive. He has a pitch. He has an easy par if he wants to, but of course he could have had his chance now if he had parked it with Martin kicking to the right, because I think Martin is far enough for it to not be obstructed on the right side.
KJ here with the lone sidearm.
Yeah.
Goes a little bit to the left.
And then we have Mass with a Reco. My guess is the same one he threw on hole 6 that he aced with.
Ja, med.
Oi.
Good kicks.
Looked like a perfect shot from Mass, but does unfortunately hit something just before he gets into the open.
I think he hit some of the trees that you see down there just before it opens up and kicks to the right, or to the left, sorry.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Because if it was a spectator, we would have heard it. KJ here nearly skips off a tree and gets a birdie.
It would have been the perfect time for it.
Oh yeah. Martin is. I thought he was a little bit further down than what he actually is, but he still has a fairly open shot. This hole has been cleaned up quite a bit as well. Fortunately, just before the tournament.
But with that layup and the way he plays it, I think he knows that Sebastian has a quite long putt. It looks closer than it is. I would say he's probably 15, 20 short of the basket.
Yeah, it's a little hard to judge.
Yeah.
I would probably say 15 because I was there, but it's long. 15 meters is long when you have those trees there.
Yeah. I think you're right with the 15.
A little low.
Yeah.
That tree right there on the left side, that would be so much in the way for me. I mean, I would still be putting around it. I would never actually hit it if it wasn't there. I would never, my disc wouldn't hit that line. But in my mind, the tree would be in the way. So, so all pars on this hole, and we're moving on to 17. And I think this is the point where I actually realized what the score is. So, interesting. Yeah. Hole 17, par 4, 123 meters. You basically have a 90-degree fairway. There are no shortcut here. There's no Mando because this hole does not need a Mando. There are no shortcuts on this hole. You need to make it to the corner and then throw from there.
And there's a lot of space down around the corner. It's not like you need to land in a certain little spot. You can go around it. You just need to get down to the corner. That's the main thing. You need to miss those first 5 trees. And the line is there. It's kind of a clear line as well.
Yeah. There are a few good spots to land in, but basically if you can make it to the corner, you have good options.
And this is the only time he didn't throw a Discmania disc, and I guess that's maybe why he hit a tree. That was a 6-ton Firebird. Besides that, he's been using only Discmania the whole round. And he's throwing his outtro X Stiletto again.
Because why not?
Beef with extra beef.
Yeah. And I should mention that there is OB long if you make it out of the woods and out onto the path.
Nope.
Yeah.
No? No OB, okay.
There's no OB.
But there is rough out there, and
yeah. You don't want to go out there for sure. But the many people have played it forehand.
Yeah.
This is where people laugh at me again, and this is the reason why I'm probably only an 895 rated disc golf player. But I throw a by backhand. Spike Kaiser to flip Annie, and then it just drives around the corner. And I was the only guy in my group in the last round to make it around the corner.
I'm a 700 rated player, and I throw backhand here. Not backhand, sidearm. Yeah.
I think if you have, I'm so bad at sidearm, that's why I don't do it. If you have the sidearm is definitely the play. If you can control it on these short spike stop shots that you want to do here, is something that personally I'm working on, and I'm hoping I will get better. And you can see KJ is starting to trust his, just a little bit too far out to the left. But the line is there. The line is actually quite open.
Yeah.
And Mass is gonna throw a feck.
Really, so smooth. And it goes
Still
so far.
Yeah. Trying to hit a spectator or two.
Yeah. The spectators he nearly hit were actually some of the new female players we have in Denmark. New talent.
Yeah.
Really good talent.
It's nice, it's been growing so much here. We have so many females now starting to come out. I saw they're going to have a doubles tournament soon, and there was 12 teams signed up now. I think
yeah, 11 or 12 teams.
Yeah. That's great.
And it's a female-only tournament, so that's pretty good.
I hope that is something that they get into, and then hopefully could start up some female PGA league tournament here only for them as well, that they could learn and run themselves. I would love to help them with that.
So both KJ and Sebastian here have those sidearm backhand shots. KJ's was a little hard to see where he ended up. If I remember correctly, he's in the slight rough on the left-hand side, but way up there.
I think you're right.
And you can just exactly see the basket here, but...
So this is Johan's third shot now. He's throwing a hard tactic. So an overstable mid-range.
Really nice.
Great shot.
Skips right behind the basket, but he's up there for a birdie putt.
I gotta be honest, I know him and everything, but before the tournament started, I wouldn't have expected him to be on lead card in the last round, Johan Berg. He definitely surprised a lot of people this weekend with his play, and he's something that everyone needs to reckon with for the future.
He's a joker for sure.
Yeah. So this is Martin's second shot.
Yep.
And you know
given that he threw a stiletto from the tee, he ended up quite far.
Yeah.
Sinos.
But no.
No, that's a harp.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he turned it over.
Yeah. It's because he didn't stick with the Sinus.
Yeah.
I actually just took took out the harp and suspect for two different Sinuses instead. Gotta follow my idol, you know. Ooh, look at that.
Really
Wow.
nice, really nice upshot here.
Yeah.
Mess with Berg again, and he has done this before,
Yeah.
but
Not this time.
not this time. But he is usually very dangerous on this distance with a Berg in his hand. He usually says it's cheating, like it's like using cheat codes when you throw a Berg with sidearm. Can't remember exactly what it is he says in Danish, but it is something with cheat codes. Mess here, Martin for birdie. A really long look, but would be really nice to get. He's only one stroke ahead.
Yeah. But I think it's just a bit too long for the Sinus to keep it up.
Yeah.
Because that would of course been the last hole, which you're gonna see in a second, is not super long. It's very tight, but it's not super long. So it's like if you had two shots before that hole,
every stroke you can get.
Yeah, then he would feel very confident on the next tee.
Yeah.
But with just one stroke, you never know.
Johan gets a really good par here.
So
Nice good par.
So we're just seeing a par frame here.
Probably, yeah. But this is a hole that is absolutely birdieable, but yeah, you need to get that good upshot. So par frame. So hole number 18, 69 meters, par 3, and this is a fairly straight but kind of tight fairway. Very much rough both left and right, and it does look on the map like there is a fairway on the left, but there's no fairway.
There really isn't. The rough is rough.
There's no fairway. So
The rough is rough.
So Johan is on the tee here.
Johan is throwing his swirly white S-line P2, a beat-in one. Like you just want to throw it straight. You just don't want to hit anything. The main object is to come all the way down to where the basket is and just settle in that, because it opens up down there a bit, so you can settle it down. And that's an okay kick. It's no problem.
Yeah.
You can also see the basket is a little bit higher on hole 18. It's permanently on this height. It's raised a little bit compared to the rest. And this is probably the most important drive he's ever had to do, Martin.
And this is with a harp. This time he froze the harp, I know.
He throws the medium harp, and he knows if he just plays it right underneath the basket, then he's the Danish champion.
No pressure.
No pressure.
You can do it, Martin. Come on. Looks a little high. Ooh.
Get a good stop of the stump over there, for sure. But yeah, it's all up to Sebastian now. Sebastian knows he needs to park this one to put any kind of pressure on Martin's putt, because if he's underneath the basket, Martin have played for many years, but I know him. It's gonna be a pressure putt if it is. And this is where, like, 15 years old have to keep ice in the stomach. And he's throwing his PA1 400 plastic here. Come on, Seb.
Oh, this is
Yeah, just look at that. That's part. This means Martin has to putt first. So it's definitely going to keep pressure on him. So we can already say now that it's for sure we're getting a new Danish champion. Unless KJ does magic, and ace this one.
He needs to ace this one. So we actually had to tell the spectators behind the basket to stand up. And this is why.
And he threw Air Pro Pink.
I'm a pro, you're not.
So the guy in the bush there, he was sitting behind me before we came down there, and I told everyone that you have to stand up because we're going to see some ace runs here. And fortunately, they did stand up. Mess here is really nice.
You know what that is?
That's a Rico.
That you died.
That I died, yeah.
The orange Rico.
Blood orange Rico. There's only 2 of these in Denmark. I made both of them.
Probably in the world.
Maybe, yeah.
Huh?
Johan here for birdie. Just outside the circle. No pressure. There's only around 100 people looking at you. You can do
and
this.
Of course, you want to get the third place, maybe even shared second. Who knows?
Yeah.
So it's an important putt. It means something. It's not for nothing. Yeah.
And you can just feel. You can just see it on him, the way he steps. Yeah. In towards the basket after releasing the disc. Yep, it's in.
So KJ has to make this basically just to be able to stay in the top 3. And as you can see, he has a quite long putt to make. Say he's around 13 meters from the basket.
Oh. And again, applause to KJ because there are no sad faces or no angry faces. That's what it is. Of course, he's maybe a little bit disappointed, but
great putt there from Masto.
Really nice birdie putt here, but KJ really keeps the good posture and.
But now. This is the hardest putt this guy has ever had to make in his life.
The longest short putt.
Shortest putt he's ever made. Yeah, that's what I said in the Danish one. Yeah.
Well, if he makes it.
Yeah. If he has to make it to win. And he knows.
Boom.
But I've talked with him after we had made the Danish one about that putt, and he was laughing about the commentary because he said that I was like it was 100% correct. He's never felt that pressure of such a short putt.
Right.
But first time Danish Championship ever for Martin Spliid, and that's me.
Yeah.
Right there.
So this is the final standings after third and last round. Like 1 stroke behind between top 1, 2, 3, and 4. Really, really good match all the way. Thank you to Stefan for doing English commentary on this as well.
Thank you for having me.
And a little funny side story that I nearly spoiled in the middle of the commentary here. I had an interview with Martin after 15 under, and this is the TD Yannick Buhl.
And the guy behind the course.
Yeah, and of course, due to COVID restrictions, we had to everyone had to stand really far apart. So this is the first time we've actually asked people to step away from the TV. So we're gonna hear a few words from Martin here, and he's basically just thanking his family.
He's thanking me and René.
Yeah, he's thanking us
for being amazing and awesome people.
Yeah, he couldn't have done this without us. But there is a funny side story to his win here, because I had an opportunity to do an interview with Martin after the tournament, like a few weeks or maybe a month after the tournament. We had people on Instagram ask questions, and it was only in Danish, unfortunately. If people really want it, I can do translations for the interview. It's on the YouTube channel as well. But it actually turns out Martin is not a guy that usually played a lot with putters before. Like, he would use putters for putting and not for throwing. But due to the COVID restrictions we had in Denmark in the spring of 2020, we had to do other things. And I had, inspired by Ricky Wysocki, where he had a pig-only challenge where he would play only pig in different plastics. 9-hole course. I asked Mads if he wanted to do the same with Berg, and Mads said, I want to play against someone. I want to play against Martin. And it ended up being a putter versus putter challenge where they could only play one disc each. So Mads picked a Rico, and I think it was a K1 Rico, the blood orange Rico, and Martin actually picked the Sinus. And won both challenges, and it was actually.
Spoil it. The videos on your channel. You can tell people to go and watch it.
Yeah, you can go watch the videos and see who actually won both those challenges. But Martin basically told me afterwards during the interview that it was actually because of those challenges that he realized how good a tool throwing a putter actually was, and how useful it was especially for the Svinninge course, because the fairways are so tight, so narrow, and he really got a new tool in the back there. So in a really roundabout way, you can actually say that maybe it's not just me or Mads, but maybe it's actually Ricky Wysocki's fault that Martin is now the Danish champion of 2020. So it's a little funny how things work out that way. But thank you for watching this. Watch this. If you're still here, please share this video with your friends if you want to show some other people what's going on.
Like and subscribe. He has a big giveaway when he hits 1,000.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, I'm giving away a basket when I hit 1,000 subscribers. Share this video with your friends. I mean, lots of people just a few years ago didn't really know what was happening with disc golf in Europe or Denmark for that matter, and I know from personal experience that lots of you actually want to see this. So please share this video with your friends, like and subscribe, comment underneath. I mean, tell us your thoughts about the course, about the commentary, and I hope to see you and you as well, Stefan, out there again on the course sometime. Thank you.
On the course, on this commentary, wherever you want to talk to me, I will be around.
Yeah, and there's a link to Stefan's Instagram in the description.
I can also come with a small teaser. At one point, there will come a disc golf starter pack and challenge video up once he has time to make that. Yeah. Where you will see a Prodigy starter pack against the Latitude starter pack against the Discmania starter pack.
Oh yeah.
With several different rated players. I'm being one of them, and let me just say, it's some of the most fun I've had in a very long time that day.
Oh yeah.
It was just fun. Like, great people having Renee there filming and having your other good friends there, it was amazing. So I would stick around to this channel if you're interested to see what's happening outside the stage, if you want to see a little bit different disc golf. There's also the Danish Championship for females with Danish commentary from one of the Danish competitors. There's a lot of good disc golf videos on this channel, the Danish Disc Golf Guy. So stick around 100%.
Oh yeah, this is a very long outro. Goodbye, Stefan.
Goodbye.